What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another trade recap video. Today I'm going to be going over the trades that I took on Monday, June 6th. I took 2 trades. I had 1 loser, 1 winner. I went long Amazon, and then I ended up shorting Tesla, and I'm going to leave it till the end to show you if I made money or not. And also something to touch on, right now the current market environment, it's a little choppy. It's very back and forth. We just had a big move from the lows, and I feel like the market's trying to figure out whether or not it wants to continue higher or roll over and continue that bear market. Nobody knows, but at the end of the day, it's just navigating each day, trying not to push it, making sure to be careful and not lose too much money or get chopped up. And that's why trading can be very difficult, because it has its short moments where things are kind of hot. You got to take full advantage of it, and then it slows down, becomes a little bit more choppy, sideways consolidation, and you have to be able to identify that with experience. You get better at being able to do so, because in those situations, in that time where it's consolidating, if you push it, it's really easy to lose a ton of money. And when I feel the market's starting to consolidate a bit or it's slowing down, maybe there's a major event later in the week and I feel like there'll be lower volume, one thing that I try to do is I just size down a bit. There's no need to trade bigger size. I'm really comfortable at 5 contracts. When things heat up, I like to trade a little bit bigger, 10, maybe 20 if it looks like an A+ setup. But otherwise, on the more expensive names like Tesla, 5 contracts. On the ones that are less expensive, I'm going to go with 10. And today will be a really good example of showing that exactly. So now let's get into the newsletter watch list. What I was watching, of course, I'm going to be watching Tesla every day. It's my favorite stock to trade. In addition to that, watching Amazon all week to figure out how it trades, AMD, BABA, and Airbnb. And for those wondering, this is my newsletter watch list. This is everything that I post on my private Twitter 30 minutes before market open. I do a quick analysis of the overall market, spying the cues if there's any major market news that day, all the stocks that I think are worth watching if there's any news tied to them, and all the levels that I think are going to be in play that day. And to the left, this is exactly what I'm posting on my private Twitter 30 minutes before market open each day. I make sure to add the newsletter watch list. I take a screenshot of the charts, green line to the upside being long, red line to the downside being short, and then I make sure to highlight the 2 major levels above. If you're interested in getting access to this, there's going to be a link in the description below. So now let's go through the technicals and the why, because that's the most important part. That's how I'm coming up with what I think could possibly happen. And then I want to obviously wait for patterns around the technical levels. So starting with the SPY, this is the daily chart coming into the 6th. I said that it's in a range, but it looks like it's trying to form a bull flag on the daily, consolidating above the 9 EMA, holds above prior day high at 414.04, then clears pre-market high. Bulls could take control, has room to 418, 421, fails to move higher, then rolls over and breaks pre-market low. Bears could take control for a pullback to 410, 408. And now the cues, so an inside day prior day, but still in a range as well, and consolidating above the 9 EMA on daily. More upside if holds above prior day high at 310.47, then clears pre-market high, has room to 313, 316, fails to move higher off the open, then rolls over and breaks pre-market low with prior day low below at 304.92, could pull back to 304, 301. And now Tesla, so a weekday on Friday, closed below prior day low. Buyers are underwater from that day. It's trading higher today and can bounce if it clears pre-market high and holds above with prior day high at 743.39. Has room to 750, 760. Fails to get above pre-market high, then rolls over and breaks pre-market low. The weakness can continue. Has room to 700, 690. And now Amazon, so first day post-split, forming a bull flag on the daily, gets above prior day high at 124.40 and clears pre-market high. It could catch some momentum, has room to 126, 129. Bull's not able to hold up off the open, then rolls over and breaks pre-market low with prior day low below at 121.05. Bears could take control for a pullback to 120, 118. And now AMD, so showed some relative strength on Friday. It closed green. More upside if it clears pre-market high and 109.50, which is double top resistance. Has room to 111, 113. Not able to hold up off the open, then rolls over and breaks pre-market low. Bears could take control for a pullback to 106, 105. And now BABA, so a nice move higher in the pre-market. 99 is a big area of resistance on the daily. Holds above that, and it could catch some momentum. Has room to 101, 103, ends up being a sell the news event, and bears quickly take control off the open, then starts to trend lower and breaks pre-market low. It could pull back to 94, 92. And now Airbnb, so consolidating above the 9 EMA on daily, 123 is a big area of resistance. Above that, it could catch momentum. More upside if it clears pre-market high and that 123 area. Has room to 126, 130. Fails to move higher, then rolls over and breaks pre-market low and stays below. Bears could take control for a pullback to 119, 117 support. So now let's get into the first trade, which is going to be a long on Amazon. So being that this is the first day post split, I have no idea how it's going to trade, but I'm trying to take the same approach. Look for upside opening range breaks, downside opening range breaks, bull flags and bear flags around the technical levels like I always talk about. So as far as what happened with Amazon off the open, pulled back a bit, but then it very quickly found some support. So it set a low and then obviously has that high a day with pre-market high above. So if this clears high a day with a technical level above, I thought that it had a chance to catch some momentum and get nice follow through. So clearly found some support at the lows, back above the 9 EMA and the VWAP. I want to anticipate that high day break. So I end up going long. I took the 126 calls, 10 of them, and I got filled at $3.25. So had a little bit of follow through, but then failed to move higher once it got above that high a day. Started to pull back, and just in case if that was a fake breakout, I don't want to be involved in a pullback that's worse than that. Just take the quick loss. Ended up selling the full position, all 10 contracts at $3.15 for a small loser. I gave it a couple minutes. It did not work out in my favor quickly, so that's my cue to get out of the trade. If for some reason it sets up again, I can always take that trade again. So now let's get into the second trade of the day, which is going to be a short on Tesla. So why did I short it? Because look at this aggressive selling off the open and then had a period of consolidation. So this is a nice bear flag, a pattern that I love to trade. Below the VWAP, below the 9 EMA. Big move lower from the open, so sellers are clearly in control, has a period of consolidation, and then when it makes a new low, I feel like there's going to be some follow through. So just knowing that that low is right there. Also the flag break breaks those lows. This could get more selling pressure. So clearly very weak. I want to anticipate that new low, so I end up going short just before it broke. I ended up taking the 715 puts, only 5 of them, and I got filled at $28.05. Ended up making a new low a day, got really nice follow through. Once it started to bounce just a little bit, that's a nice move in my favor. I'm just going to take those quick profits. I ended up selling the full position, all 5 contracts at $29.85 for a nice win. So now let's go check out the P&L. Ended up keeping that loss on Amazon really small, only lost $100. Nice $900 winner on Tesla. And between both those trades, ended up making $800. So that was the trade recap video. I appreciate you watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. I just want to talk about a couple cool things that I have to offer. The first is going to be my newsletter watch list. This is exactly what I post on my private Twitter 30 minutes before market open every single day. I do a quick analysis of the overall market, the SPY and the Qs, if there's any major market news that day, and then all the stocks I'm interested in watching. It's usually 4 or 5, if there's any major news tied to them, and all the levels that I think are in play. To the left, this is exactly what I'm posting on my private Twitter. I make sure to add that newsletter. I take a screenshot of the charts, green line to the upside being long, red line to the downside being short, and I make sure to highlight those 2 levels above. This is everything that's going on in my mind and my game plan going into each market open. Also, I make sure to add a little mental note because every day is slightly different, and here's an example of that. And if you want something that's a little bit less of a commitment, I do offer a live one-on-one call for 1 hour. This is where you can ask me questions about my journey, go over setups specifically, everything that I've gone through as a trader. Whether you're beginner or advanced, this is a great way to connect with me. So if you're interested in my private Twitter or the one-on-one live call, feel free to go to callmattdiamond.com or check out the links in the description below.